Alright boys, welcome to the Banlist prediction video, and probably the first video on the second channel. So here I've got 3 potential ban lists. I have a ban list which is what I think Konami might actually do. I have a ban list which is like my wish list, and it's a pretty aggressive one, but it's still in reality. There's still a level of reality, like this is Konami we're talking about. And then the last ban list is like, if we wanted to fix this game and make this game better to play, these are the massive things that would have to get banned. So I've not been enjoying the ranked experience. Many people haven't. Yeah, well, let's check something. I mean, we can look here. We can see that a lot of people, they came back for the event and they very quickly left and have been leaving. Come back a little bit for the Blue Eye support. And then I guess came back for the Duelist Cup, and then it's, you know, it hasn't been doing great, right? It hasn't been doing great. We haven't really maintained our players, and we're back to basically what we were in the Tenpai meta, right? Like, we're already here, so the game's a bit not doing great. Although if we look at 6 months, oh, you know, I guess it's always been struggling. What the hell? Jesus Christ. Jesus. Oh, that's not true. We had like some 30Ks. Okay, the Tenpai meta was rough. Like, the Tenpai meta was rough. Anyway, the point is that there's some pretty significant changes I would make to Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole, or Masterduel as a whole, just for the game to have more direction. You know what I'm saying? Alright, let's get into it. So in the first ban list, this is obvious, man. Beatrice. I think this is on everybody's list. I think this is gonna be Konami's, like, excuse ban to not touch anything else. I think Beatrice is the only card getting banned. I don't think anything else in Snake Eyes is gonna get touched. I'm quite a pessimist. And I don't think anything in any other deck is gonna get banned. I think Beatrice is just gonna have to take the bullet for all of these decks. So I think Beatrice is the only card getting banned. Anti-Spell Fragrance, they have a tendency to like slowly lower stun cards, go like 3 to 2 to 1 and then ban them. I think Anti-Spell Fragrance is probably going to get banned. Spells are obviously important in this game. They've made it that way. And I don't think anybody likes playing against this card. And I think they also just banned this in OCG. I could be wrong. So in the limited list, we've got, I have Diabell Star and I've got Original Sinful Spoils. The reason why I have it like this is because, well, one, Konami does love doing useless limits, but that's not the point. The point is basically they're either going to ban this or they're going to limit this, right? It's one or the other. I doubt they're going to do both. Konami doesn't like to, they don't like to do both at the same time. So I think we're either going to see a limit or we're going to see a ban. That's why I put them next to each other. Them limiting this would be fucking hilarious considering Snake Eyes, 1. They only run 1. That would be hilarious. But I think it's either that gets banned or they're just going to limit Diabell Star. I'm a bit pessimistic on that, but I also think they're going to limit Bonfire. Everyone has been saying this, and I agree. Apparently, a future deck, I think it's Ryzel, is a good user of this card. So I think they're going to just limit Bonfire now before any of that releases. I think Sangen Kaimin is going to get limited again. The main reason why I say this, like, Tenpai needs a hit, right? Like, it needs a hit, but Tenpai's a weird deck where I feel like if you ban anything, the deck becomes, like, almost unplayable. So they're gonna just keep hitting its consistency. So my prediction is that they're gonna either limit this to 1 or they're gonna limit Pydra. I don't think they're gonna limit it to 1. I think they're gonna limit it to 2. I don't know. I just have a feeling that they're gonna hit Tenpai, but they're not gonna hit it super, super hard. Not as hard as I would hit it. I would just kill the deck. I personally would just kill the deck, but I think they're just gonna limit it to 1. I don't think they're gonna go crazy. So it's either Kaimin limit to 1 or it will be Pydra limit to 2. Something like kind of like a slap on the wrist. And then we have Unicorn. So a lot of people are asking for Unicorn to get banned. Right now, Unicorn hurts a lot of decks because a lot of decks are shoving in the Fiendsmith engine. So now they don't have much room for duplicates of their really important cards. And you don't want to have doubles of the Fiendsmith engine either. So a lot of decks are suffering from Unicorn. I see a lot of people asking for its ban. I personally don't play decks that get hurt by Unicorn that much, so I don't really care. So I have it here on a limit. I I could see it getting banned. If it gets banned, I would expect Fenrir to go up to like a 2, maybe even a 3. Because Kashtira would be pretty crippled without Unicorn. Unicorn's one of the best cards they could start with, you know. I guess technically the field spell, but yeah. I can see Unicorn getting hit in some way. It could get banned, but it's Konami we're talking about. I feel like it's more likely to be limited to 1. And then we have semi-limit. I don't think this is happening. I was looking at the list. Beansmith runs, they do run 3 of them. Some of them run this card at 3, and then others just don't run it at all. And I was just looking at White Forest, because this card is on the rise. If you look here, right, it's already tier 2 now. So this deck is on the rise, and I was thinking they might try to purposefully hit this deck, but I don't think they would hit something super niche. Like, as you can see, like some cards are adding this engine, but not many. And I was just thinking like, oh wait, no, sorry, I got this mixed up. I was thinking that this was, yeah, okay. I was thinking that Deception was a way for them to hit Snake Eyes. Just because Snake Eyes, they're either running it at 3 or they're not running it at all. And then it would look like they're hitting White Forest, even though they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like most decks play it at 1, a lot at 2, barely any at 3. So it's kind of like a, hey, we see White Forest as a bit of a problem, so have this. You know what I'm saying? Not a real nerf, not a real hit, but a bit of like a, hey, stop that. You know what I'm saying? Because even Diabellstar, I believe. Yeah, Diabellstar's mostly run at a 1 as well. So nothing here really hurts White Forest that much. At all, in fact. And to be honest with you, it's kind of hard to find anything to ban in White Forest. I think the only real thing would be like the Sprite Elf or the Moon, the Closed Heaven. So they can't play the Fiendsmith. That's pretty drastic, and they just released Fiendsmith. I don't think they're banning this card anytime soon. So that's pretty much it for what I actually expect Konami to do. That's like my actual predictions. So we'll move on to what I would like them to do that is still in some realm of reality. And here is the list. So if Konami woke up and they were just based as fuck one day, this is the ban list I would expect. You know what I mean? And you can say some of this is a bit too dank, and it probably is true. Like Max C ban, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Let's be real, that's not happening. Maybe at best they limit it to 1, right? Maybe that's what they do, but a ban is that's probably too much for Konami, but come on, man. Next one is Beatrice. Obviously, everyone expects this. Don't really need to talk about it. It's the main thing that links Fiendsmith into every other deck. So people expect Fiendsmith. For me, I have these 2 cards. I think Snake Eyes has had its time in the sun. And every time a deck has been gross, it's been because of the Snake Eyes ability to summon a bunch of bullshit, right? So this isn't both of these, by the way. This is one or the other, right? You either ban the Sinful Spoils or you ban the Flamberge. I don't know which one would hurt the deck more. I don't know which one would allow the deck to be playable still. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm okay with letting it go. But yeah, that's kind of the idea here, is that it's one or the other. It's not both of them. And yeah, like Fire King, when Fire King was gross, it was because of the Snake Eyes shit, you know? Now that that deck doesn't run it very well, it's not anywhere near as strong, right? So it was the ability to just spew out all the crap, get out the Appaloosa, all that jazz. So one or the other needs to get hit. We then have D-Shifter. Yeah, ban it. Just ban it. Yeah, that's it. This has no counterplay unless you're going first. This is only 2 cards that counter it. Only if you're going first. So ban it. Anyway, we have Sanket Summoning. This card I would ban. The main reason why is just because of the unaffected part. Your monsters are unaffected in main phase 1. I think that idea of cards just being unaffected is terrible. It's a shit idea and shouldn't exist in most card games. So that's why I would ban it. It also hurts Tenpai, which is still a strong deck, but it doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't outright kill it. I've seen Tenpai combo off without it. And I hit the consistency a bit with Pydra as well, just because, you know, Tenpai's had its time. You know what I'm saying? Tenpai's had its time. Hit it extra hard. Give it 2 hits, 1 big hit, 1 medium hit. See how it goes. Probably still be fine. And then we have anti-spell vagrants. Just ban it, get rid of it. Spell cards are important. We already talked about it. We then have bonfire, which I already explained. And then we have unicorn in the same position again, which I've already explained. I could see it getting banned, but probably not. And then I have the Diabell Star here, just because, like, for example, if they ban Flamberge, you might need to hit Diabell Star, because this card would still be legal. Like, Sinful Spoils would still be legal. So you might need to hit the Diabell Star as well. This kind of depends on what they would ban out of these two. And then, once again, same thing with Deceptions. Kind of hurts the Snake Eyes deck a bit. Doesn't do much to White Forest. You know, it looks decent. This is like if they were based. It's probably not happening. But if they were based, this would happen. Next, we have the Omega ban list. Now, okay, there are multiple components. There are about 4 components to this ban list. Let me take you through one at a time. 0.0, not even 0.1, 0.0, maxi, get it going, fuck it off. All right, cool, we're done. 0.1, this is where I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Struggles the most and why people really struggle to get into the game and like it. And that is the lack of game direction. Most card games have a vision. They have a direction that they know they want to go, and they pursue that direction. Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes feels like they don't want to go a certain way, then they print more cards that make them go that certain way, so then they have to ban those cards later on, but during the time between them releasing and banning it, they released other cards, and those cards had to be better than the last cards. So then those cards are now the bigger problems, but the last cards were getting banned. It's a mess. So this is kind of trying to get the game in a direction where it's like, okay, this is what we're sticking to. The things that make Yu-Gi-Oh! Stand out in the market is that there are no costs for summoning. There's a normal summon and that's it. Special summons, you can do as much as you can. It is the most combo-focused game. There's no resource management. You can just summon, summon, summon. So in my opinion, if you're gonna make decks like that, just fucking commit to it. Ban any and all cards that say you cannot special summon. You've already committed to this road. You've already done it. Get rid of them. So that's why all the barrier statues are here. They're gone. The game is never going to go back to a normal summon, tribute summon-esque game. That's only going to be reserved for the, you know, Edisons and the goats, right? That era is gone. Just commit to it. Stop allowing people to play these stupid, niche, frustrating decks that really piss a lot of people off. You know what I'm saying? Get rid of them. Unnecessary frustration. That's what this entire, like, top row and a bit is. Literally, these are all things that just say neither player can special summon. Stuff like that. We then have our lingering effects that, once again, stop the core identity of Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is kind of like, you know, playing the game and comboing. So anything that stops you from just playing the game is kind of hit here. Necro Valley's like the only one where I'm like 50-50, you know what I'm saying? It's not like the most important hit, but graveyards have become a staple of Yu-Gi-Oh! Konami will not stop printing cards that do shit in the graveyard. They fucking love it. So in my opinion, there's too many decks that do this. Having one card to counter it, not great. So I put Necro Valley on here. It's a bit tentative. But things like Dimensional Barrier that just stop you from summoning a certain type and is a lingering effect. Things like this deck lockdown, which I haven't played against this, but some of these are from my stream chat. Some of them have been traumatized. They've been really traumatized by some card effects. So some of these are from there, like this Cactus and deck lockdown. Same thing, you're not allowed to like add cards to your hand. D-Shifter, obviously. Dimensional Fissure, which is just the spell version of D-Shifter. Anti-Spell Fragrance, Skill Drain, Power Stone. Just because, like, you know, monster effects are synonymous with summoning. So basically, cards that just say your opponent's not allowed to play the game, those are kind of gone. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of gone. There can only be one is like the one where I'm like sort of okay with this one, but I don't know. It's frustrating enough, and it's used in some degenerate decks enough that I'm ready to get rid of it. It might not be as big of a problem because usually people pair this card up with one of these others, like Dimensional Barrier, you know? So we'll have to see, but just hit all of the things that stop people from playing the game for the most part. So that's what this list is. So that is all in point one of let's get a direction for the game. All right, let's commit to a vision for the game. We're committing to the ability to summon. We're committing to monster effects being good. We're committing to it all, okay? So now we have point two. Wait, actually, let me just put these. We'll put these at the end. I kind of need to explain them a bit. I've sort of already explained them. We'll put them at the end. Point two, generic boss monsters. Get rid of these fucking cards. So we have Appaloosa, obviously the queen of genericness right now. We have Baron, who is also pretty high up there with genericness. We also have Borreload here, just because a lot of decks, if they don't summon Baron, they can pivot to Borrel. You know what I'm saying? It's not that hard for them to pivot. So we're getting rid of him as well. I've done Nightmare here, Nightmare Griffin. This is preemptive. If we got rid of Appaloosa, I have a feeling that this card would be played significantly more. And this card is a floodgate, right? Special summon monsters in the field cannot activate their effects unless they are linked. It's designed to stop your opponent from playing the game, for the most part. And then we have SP Little Knight, who is the most played generic monster in the game, beating Ash Blossom now. Number 2, SP Little Knight. This is going to be a bit controversial. I know it's going to be a bit controversial, but SP demands, like, basically SP allows you to use a monster that got, like, negated from, like, an Ash Blossom, plus, like, a dead card, like Fuelos, for example. You can use both of those cards, make SP, and your opponent has to respect it. Because if they don't respect it, their main combo or their boss monster is just going to get banished and they're going to lose it. And to respect it, they're going to have to summon something stronger than it, which isn't that hard. But then they're going to have to punch it in the face. It's a bit too dank. I get it. It's a bit extreme. But listen, hey, if we're gonna stick to the philosophy, right? The philosophy is no generics, then hey, get rid of it. To be fair, it's not a generic boss monster, but it is a generic end board piece. A lot of decks will just put together 2 random pieces of crap and turn it into an SP Little Knight. So, sorry, that is the second point. The third point is current meta / personal bias. Not gonna lie. So we have Beatrice for the current meta. Glamberg and Civil Spores are the same thing, like one or the other. I'll just fucking ban them both, who cares? And then we've got some personal ones, all right? Snow, fuck this card. Fuck this card. Fuck this card. I don't care that it's limited. Fuck it. Gone. Get it out of here. I hate this card. It shouldn't work how it works. I hate it. Gone. Point number 2, we have Kick Close. Every other region has banned this card. I'm sick of Tearlaments. I'm done with Tearlaments, okay? Tearlaments had its run. I know Jesse Cotton's gonna be upset. I know he's not gonna like what he sees, but come on, get rid of it. Let it go, man. We then have Sprite Elf. This card is like always a nightmare, and I didn't even realize it. This card's banned. Here, where is it? Where is it? This card's banned in both of the other formats, which is also part of my reason of banning Kit Close, by the way, because Kit Close is also banned in the other 2 formats. So it's kind of like cleaning it up in a sense. Clean up the ban list a little bit, get a little bit in line with some other ban lists that aren't allowing some of this shit. So Sprite Elf, like, it's obnoxious. It always gets played in like the worst type of deck. And I also feel like if you ban this, you could maybe be more lenient on other Sprite cards in general. I'm also a believer, because talk about game direction, I'm a believer in them just banning stuff and then bringing it back, but you know, more specific, right? Like, I'm totally fine with them making Baron the second, you know what I'm saying? but it literally is specific to our archetype, you know? I'm okay with them bringing back Appaloosa of the spirits or whatever the fuck. I don't know what deck she's supposed to belong to, but I would be okay if they were specific to their own archetypes. But obviously they're not, and that's the problem. And this card can get splashed into some weird ass shit and make it really, really gross. We then have Transaction Rollback. I feel like this is personal bias. I feel like this card doesn't work how it should. And I've seen it be used in plenty of like FTK bots. I've seen it be used for some other degen shit, for like board wipes that just don't make sense, in Tearlaments, funnily enough. Like board wipes where they just ignore the condition, and it's a very powerful board wipe. So I just put it on here, get rid of it, I hate it. Sandgate Summoning and Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls. These are a bit interesting. The reason why they're here isn't to hit Tenpai, funnily enough. It's actually just because, like I said, they're unaffected. Everything becomes unaffected. I don't believe that should be a thing. I don't like it. I don't want it. So here it is. Here it is. I put both of them on there because they both just say you're unaffected. You know what I mean? Monsters are unaffected. Nuh-uh. We're done. None of that shit. And then the limits, we have basically the same reasoning as in the other tier list. Macrocosmos is here just because, like, I didn't feel great about getting rid of all of these type of cards, but it could just get banned. I'm not too big on it. Senjin, just because people are using this to add in a little bit of, like, weird stuff to their deck. It's getting splashed in some weird decks, like here. I think White Forest too. Yeah, here. So they're being splashed in those two decks. That's why it's getting hit. And then Phantom Ubel is getting hit, not because Ubel's OP right now, but because I will be unlimiting my Spirit Gate boys, okay? My fucking Sacred Beast boys. These are my Sacred Beast boys. I want my Sacred Beast boys back. So we're hitting the Phantom before we get these two back. I love my boys. I want my boys back. I play Sacred Beast, that's why I'm biased. And then we have two more here. So Retaliating Sea is still a lingering banish effect. That's why it's here. It's in the unlimited just because, like, let all of this go through first, and then we'll come back and we'll see if this needs to be banned. And Joel and Lockbird's the same thing. Right now, Joel and Lockbird is really popular against the current meta. So let's ban a bunch of stuff. Let's see where things end up. And then we'll see if Joel and Lockbird is a problem. Because the idea of it, it's a lingering effect. I do want it gone. Maybe not right now. Anyway, that is my most based list. Some of it's biased, some of it's extensive, but also, I hope you guys can see, some of it is to, like, focus on a direction for the game. And to be like, alright, this is where we're going. Get rid of the generic end boards. Get rid of stuff that stops you from playing. And then nerf some of the meta cards that are currently available. Anyway, that'll be it for this rambling video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.